Right, sorry about that. RE Central decided to crash on me. The software I used to stream the gameplay from my other computer just decided to crash on me, so I had to do a complete restart on the computer that I stream on. But it's all good now. But anyway, guys, welcome then to today's live stream ahead of the Mexican Grand Prix. I am JWF1, and we are here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit for the running of the Mexican Grand Prix. Yesterday I said it was 66 laps. That was my error. It's 65 laps the race is, but close enough really. And well, there you have it then. So we are here for the 65 lap Mexican Grand Prix. If you didn't see what happened in qualifying yesterday, it was quite a close, well, it wasn't a close qualifying session. It seemed that for the second weekend in a row, the Etihad and the EMR seemed to duke it out for those first floor slots in the end. But in the end, it was Lewis Hamilton, the man who's taken most pole positions this season, who took pole position here at Mexico, with Sebastian Vettel second and Nico Hülkenberg in third. Alonso in fourth position, and hoping to get a good start from that position if he can. But anyway, before we start then, guys, let's mute this, turn this up a little, and let's have a look at the grid for today's Mexican Grand Prix. Here we go then. So on pole position, it's Lewis Hamilton with Sebastian Vettel in second. Nico Hülkenberg lines up in third with Fernando Alonso in fourth. Romain Grosjean starts in fifth with Antonio Giovinazzi in sixth position. The two Bud Light Limes locking out the third row. The two Eldorados lock out row 4, Bottas 7th and Perez in 8th. Max Verstappen 9th with Pascal Wehrlein in 10th, Perez in front of his home fans. Magnussen in 11th, Ocon in 12th in the Martini. Brennan Hartley starts 13th in the Monster Car, Stoffel Van Dorn in 14th. Carlos Sainz Jr. in 15th. Shadow appears to be struggling this weekend in Mexico. Daniel Ricciardo is 16th. Oliver Rowland starts 17th with Charles Leclerc in 18th. Jean-Eric Vergne starts 19th, Ed Jones in 20th. And on the back row of the grid, it's Scott Dixon, and due to his qualifying ban, Kimi Raikkonen is in 22nd and last. And that is the grid for the Mexican Grand Prix. So there is the grid then, guys, for the Mexican Grand Prix. So if you can hear a fan in the background, it is quite warm here in the UK, so just ignore that. The weather is bright and sunny here at Mexico. So leave your predictions, but without further ado, let's get to the Mexican Grand Prix. So, here we are then on the grid then. Hamilton on the left of your screens. It's Vettel on the right, who's going to get the lead into turn 1 as we wait for the 5 red lights to go off to signify the start of the Mexican Grand Prix here at Mexico City. So, 1 light is on, 2 lights are on, 3 lights are on, 4 lights are on, 5 lights are on. And it is go for the Mexican Grand Prix here at Mexico City. It's a good start from Vettel. He's got the jump on Hamilton at the start. Alonso's had a cracking start as well. He jumps Hamilton as well. Tries to find a way through on Vettel, but Vettel shoots him off. Can Alonso try and get the momentum into turn 1? Alonso side by side with Vettel. And oh, there's contact! There is contact between Vettel and Alonso. Giovinazzi takes the lead. Contact between Alonso and Vettel into turn 1. We need to have a look at a replay on that. So if you heard my voice break there, Alonso down the inside. Let's have a look. And he just swerves it to the side of Vettel. Both of them get taken off at turn 1. Giovinazzi takes advantage and takes the lead of the Grand Prix. That's going to have to be investigated for sure. Alonso yet again in the wars. A good start from Ocon to get up into 5th position there. But carnage between Alonso and Alonso smacked it in the wall. Alonso is out of the race. Vettel trying to get the car going as well. And he's down to last. But drama in the first few corners. Alonso out of the race. Looked like Alonso was a little bit too ambitious into turn 1. That will have to be investigated for sure. It leaves Giovinazzi leading the race, but Hamilton still keeping up with him in second place as they go through the S's now then. And around the left-hander we will go now then. And a good start from Grosjean as well. But Flightline's got a good start. Ocon up into 4th place, taking advantage of what happened out the first few corners. Hülkenberg dropping back a bit, holding up Bottas as they go through the S's. And we need to check the strategies, because remember last season as well, the 1-stoppers always seem to drop back, but then seem to gain time once the 2-stoppers pitted. So here comes Giovinazzi, who leads the race for the first time, I think, for a while. I think the last time he won a race, let's not forget, was back at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix last season when he was fighting in fact with Lewis Hamilton as well. So at the end of lap 1 of 65 then, it's Giovinazzi who leads, closely followed by Hamilton in second. Grosjean now a defender from Ocon, he's side by side with him, down in towards the first few corners. Ocon fancying his chances, Giovinazzi going in defensive, Hülkenberg 5th, Fernando 6th, Bottas 7th, Perez right out top 8, down the inside goes Ocon, and Ocon takes 3rd from Grosjean, up into 5th place goes Esteban Ocon, in the improving Martini, and well, Ocon getting himself up there, Giovinazzi saying a fastest lap, but Hamilton really piling the pressure on him now then, as the two of them duke it out for the lead, through towards these first few corners then on the track, up towards the double right-hander we will go now then, as now they go through the S's now then on the track, as now coming down towards these section of corners now then they go on the track through the left-hander and then through the right. Hamilton really trying to pile the pressure on as best as possible now then as they go through the S's on the track, and well, that's that then really as they go down towards the final corner now then on the track. Hamilton now then going up towards the final corner. Hamilton right in the slipstream now then of Antonio Giovinazzi. Hamilton now then trying to get into the slipstream of Antonio, but it looks like Antonio's got a lot more traction there than what Hamilton did, and well, Giovinazzi with a lot more traction it appears. Meantime now Hülkenberg's having an attack on Grosjean for P4 and he gets the move done. Up into 4th place goes Nico Hülkenberg and he even sets the fastest lap of 1 minute 10.093 now then on the track at the moment. We will check the fuel but it looks like Grosjean's actually trying to get back through on Hülkenberg. They're both keeping up with Ocon at the moment in the underpowered Martini as Grosjean retakes 4th there from Hülkenberg, so back up to 4th place goes Romain Grosjean now then. Let's have a look at the fuel loads from all of them. Hamilton trying to catch back in because it looked like Giovinazzi was better prepared going into the last corner than what Hamilton was there then. So let's have a look. 19.3 for Giovinazzi, 19.4 for Hamilton, 18.4, 37.3. So Grosjean looking at the one stop, 7.4, 22.3, 18.4, 38.3, 39.3, 37.3, 39.3, 38.3, 18.3, 20.3, 20.3, 19.3, Dixon, 18.4, 38.4, 18.3, Vettel getting up to 19, 38.3, 16.3 there for Ed Jones. Meantime, Hamilton looks like both Giovinazzi and Hamilton are on similar strategies as they come up towards the final corner. Hamilton struggling to keep up at this stage. Meantime, Hülkenberg down the inside, he goes on Grosjean and he gets the move done at the final corner. Hülkenberg up to 4th place there with that start as they go down the pitch straight. Hamilton now sets the fastest lap of 1 minute 9.890. Sorry, 809 for Hamilton now. Then the championship leader trying to pile the pressure on Antonio Giovinazzi if he can, and he's closing right back into the slipstream of Antonio at this stage. Hülkenberg now trying to close up onto Ocon if he can for P3 as Verline now fancies his chances at this stage as they go through the first few corners on the track. And so around we go now then going through the section of corners. Hülkenberg trying to get up to Ocon. He's closing in on him at this stage. So Ocon might have a hard time trying to keep back Hülkenberg at this stage, but we'll wait and see. And even Gio might have a tough time trying to keep back Hamilton. These two fought it out at Abu Dhabi last season when Hamilton tried to pass Giovinazzi to save any chance he had of the championship last season. So far he's leading the championship and could even pull away more from Alonso in the Drivers' Championship as a result of Alonso crashing out with Vettel at the first corner. Of course that is under investigation. As a result, as through the left-hander we will go now then towards the first corner, towards the final corner. In fact, Hamilton's still not within slipstream range at the moment of the Italian. As I go through the final corner, Hamilton's still trying to keep his foot in, trying to keep up with Giovinazzi, it appears. Giovinazzi appearing to take a little bit of a wide line through into there. There's a lot of lines the drivers seem to be taking down here, but now they go down the straight. Hamilton in the slipstream now then of Giovinazzi. Will he get the move done? Hamilton sets a fastest lap. Hamilton tucks up into Gio's slipstream. He looks at the inside. Can Hamilton take the lead from Giovinazzi? And he can. Hamilton leads here at Mexico. Takes the lead from Giovinazzi, and Hamilton taking the lead here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit now then. As meantime, Magnussen in 7th, Bottas keeping back the hometown favourite Perez at the moment as they fight it out for the final points positions. Sainz up into 10th place, getting in front of Verstappen, so really making amends after struggling in qualifying. Vettel up to 16th, he's getting a move on in the EMR as they go down the back straight before approaching left-hander as Leclerc fancies his chances on Van Dorn. Not going to quite work out. Some locking up going on there. I don't know if that was Vettel or Leclerc that locked up into that corner there, but somebody jammed on the brakes to avoid somebody. Verne now brought into that fight as well. Meantime, Gio's still keeping up with Hamilton at this stage, so these two could duke it out for the win. It's been a while since the Bud Light Line has had an opportunity to possibly win the race, and it seems they're now back this weekend, it appears. So sorry for the drop of frames a little bit there. As I go through the final corner now, then Hamilton looking to try and pull away a bit from Giovinazzi if he can. As meantime now Hülkenberg starting to line up Ocon for a pass for third place. Will Hülkenberg get the move done on Esteban Ocon as they go down the pit straight? Hülkenberg now then tucked up into the slipstream of Ocon. He looks to the inside. Will Hülkenberg get the move done? Ocon shutting the door on his former teammate there and keeps hold of third place for the time being now then. As Grosjean's now feeling the pressure from Wehrlein now, and Wehrlein also running quite light but quite heavier than the other two stoppers at this stage. So he's looking like he's going to be pitting a little bit later for his first of two stops. As now they go up towards the left-right chicane now then on the track. We're now on lap 6 of 65. Usually this race runs pretty quickly, it must be said. It's like Suzuka in a way on how quick the race usually runs, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again this weekend. Hamilton now then still leading the way at the moment here at Mexico, as he looks to make it 2 victories out of 2 here at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez at this stage, and he's doing a good job now. Giovinazzi unable to keep up with him at the moment, and Giovinazzi starting to fall back potentially with this battle for third. But Hülkenberg now down the inside of Ocon. Will he grab third from the Frenchman? And he can. Hülkenberg up into third place, getting the move done on Esteban Ocon, and now finds himself onto the podium. As Hamilton sets another fastest lap of 1:09.640 for the Brit as he continues to pull away from Giovinazzi in front. Hülkenberg now trying to size up the Italian if he can, trying to close him up as he starts to leave Ocon for dust. Meantime, Wehrlein trying to get the move done on Grosjean if he can down to turn 1, but it doesn't look like the German is close enough. Magnussen's getting close to this battle as well. So keep an eye on that. It's Raikkonen who's making his way through the field after the qualifying ban. He's going down the inside of Carlos Sainz Jr. Will he get the move done as Hartley looks to the inside? I believe that's Hartley down the inside of Verstappen. Raikkonen gets the move done to get up into 10th, and it's Rowland in fact. Rowland takes 12th from Verstappen, so up to P12 goes Oliver Rowland. Verstappen winning quite heavy, so that could explain why he's dropping back quite a bit. Vettel up to 14th as he's really trying to get himself on the charge and make himself back through the field at this stage, and he's doing a good job very quickly. Pretty much picking off everybody one by one as Leclerc and Van Dorn go side by side for P15. Leclerc trying to get the edge, and he does. Leclerc grabbing 15th for the moment in this race at the moment. But Ricciardo not doing a good job towards the back of the field, finding himself in a group of cars fighting out for, I believe, a maximum of 16th place, I would presume. As, sorry, possibly 15th, I don't know. As you can see, Hamilton now setting another fastest lap of 1:09.587 for Lewis Hamilton at the moment as he continues to get away out in front at the moment, as Giovinazzi dropping back in second place as they go through the first few corners now then on the track. Through in towards these corners now then we go. As Ocon starts to back as now Wehrlein down the inside of Grosjean. Will he get the move done? And yes he can. Wehrlein up into 5th place, getting the move done on the heavy fueled Grosjean, and he gets himself into the top 5 as a result, as they just come out of turn 3 there then. As now Magnussen will want to have a piece of him at the moment in this race. Raikkonen starting to close in a bit now on Perez for P9, so Raikkonen getting a move on in the pack. Grosjean still keeping up with Wehrlein at the moment, still trying to stick in his slipstream at the moment, or with his exhaust, whichever you want to say. Giovinazzi through these section of corners now then on the track, as he just flicks the car through that corner now then before approaching the final corner on the track. And let's see what Gio, as you can see, we'll see what the gap is like between him and Hülkenberg. Looks like Hülkenberg is starting to gain now a little bit onto the Italian, so Hülkenberg could fight it out with Giovinazzi as they go down the pit straight now then. Let's see what the gap is like between Giovinazzi and Hülkenberg, as we're now on lap 9 of 65 now then. The lap's going very quickly, it must be said, and in around about 9 laps time we should see the first round of stops for the 2 stoppers getting underway. 1 second is the gap exactly, I think that said, between Giovinazzi and Hülkenberg. So start there, and then as they come out of turn 3, Hülkenberg trying to get his foot down if he can. Wehrlein trying to close up onto Ocon if he can, a former Manor teammate in Formula 1. As a little bit of a mistake there for Magnussen. I don't know if he went a little bit too deep on the curb there, but looks like some tyre smoke came off his car there. So pushing very hard then is Kevin Magnussen. Meantime now Raikkonen, who's making his way up through the field, starting to pile the pressure on Sergio Perez for P9. So Raikkonen fancying his chances. Looked like Perez went a little bit defensive into the corner. And Perez also going quite heavy in this race. In fact, both Eldorados are. Both Eldorados opted to go for the one-stop strategy here at Mexico. So very interested to see if that works out for the Romanian team. Raikkonen now, though, piling the pressure on Checo, the hometown favourite, of course. Sorry for the drop of frames. As now we go through the S's. As now going down the back straight towards the final corner. Raikkonen now looking to the inside. Will he get the move done on Sergio Perez? Down the inside he goes. No, he can't. Perez shutting the door into that final corner there. And again, sorry for the drop of frames. I am fearing the worst at the moment. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad. Down the straight we go. Raikkonen still trying to get the move done on Perez if he can. And Raikkonen again looking to the inside. Riding on board with Raikkonen now then. As they head down the pit straight. And again, looks like Perez just got enough of an edge in towards those first few corners out. And again, I apologise for the drop of frames. I am fearing for the worst at the moment with 5G. That's being my internet. Magnussen piling the pressure now on Romain Grosjean. Raikkonen unable to find a way through on Sergio Perez at the moment. So Raikkonen still stuck behind. In fact, the other Suomi is not making that much progress at the moment. As now they go through the next section of corners. Hülkenberg now then trying to close up onto Giovinazzi if he can, as they go through the final corner. And now down the pit straight we will go. Hülkenberg, I want to see the gap actually, because we didn't check last time around between the pair of them. As we're now on lap 11 of 65 in this race now, as they head down towards the first few corners on the track. And let's see the gap between these two now, then 1.4. So it looks like maybe Giovinazzi's opened it up a bit from the last time we checked, unless I got the gaps wrong a little bit last time. And Magnussen takes 6th from Grosjean up to P6 goes Kevin Magnussen in the Suomi. So he gets the move done on Romain Grosjean, as that Raikkonen piles the pressure on Sergio Perez. But again, Perez just shutting the door through towards turn 1, trying to keep the home fans happy at the moment in this race as they go through turn 3 now then on the track. Again, apologies for the drop of frames as they go down the straight now then towards the left and right hander, as Raikkonen goes down the inside of Perez. It'd be a beautiful move if he pulls this one off, but he doesn't. Hangs it around the outside, and Perez still getting his foot in and staying in front of the Iceman Kimi Raikkonen as they go through the S's. So through we will go. As Grosjean now then starting to drop back, I think, a little bit from Kevin Magnussen at this stage. So that's that really for him as far as he's concerned. As Perez now then just goes through the section of corners, and still Raikkonen still trying to get the move done on Checo if he can, as they go up towards the final corner. Raikkonen down the inside of Sergio Perez. Will he get the move done down the last corner? No, again Perez just shutting the door into there, and Perez just not letting the Iceman go at this stage. And it looks like now he's got a little bit of a buffer for Raikkonen, unless Raikkonen is able to get enough momentum. In fact, right behind them, that is Sebastian Vettel. So Vettel has got up to 11th very quickly in this race, it must be said. So Vettel making his way up through the field quite nicely. Raikkonen not close enough to make a move on Perez at this stage, as meantime Sainz trying to fend off from Verstappen and even Leclerc as well. So two shadows getting involved in a battle with Verstappen, but Verstappen going to hold him off for the time being to keep hold of 13th place. Sainz trying to keep back Leclerc at the moment in this race. And so now going through the S's, Hülkenberg seeming to get back close with Giovinazzi at the moment, as they both negotiate through the S's now then on the track, as the V10s roar around this track now then. Up towards the final corner will go Nico Hülkenberg, and so flat he will go around the final corner and onto the pit straight. Let's see what the gap is like anyway between these two as they head down the pit straight. Lap 13 of 65 we're now on, and so now heading down the straight we will go, as we'll head down towards the first few corners, and the gap is 1.3 seconds. That's what it looks like at the moment. So Hülkenberg cutting the gap down a bit more now onto Antonio Giovinazzi, as now Vettel has taken 10th from Raikkonen and now finds himself down the inside of Perez. Will Vettel get the move done? Look like Perez just had enough momentum. Vettel gets back in the slipstream, looks to the inside again into turn 1. Will he get the move done? And no, Perez shutting the door on Vettel. So he's even doing the same with Vettel as what he did with Raikkonen, just shutting the door at the moment and not letting anybody through at this stage. Vettel now down the back straight trying to get the move done on Perez, possibly down into turn 4. Is there enough of a gap for the German to get through? No, there ain't. Perez still keeping him back for the moment at this stage as they go up towards the double right-hander now then. As Raikkonen trying to feed himself into that battle if he can. As let's see what the gap is like between these two now then as they head up towards the final corner now then. The sparks coming off the back of Hülkenberg's car as they head down the pit straight. We are 6 minutes away from the 3:30 mark. Let's see the gap then between second and third at the moment now then as they're heading towards the first few corners on the track. And so let's see now then. Towards the first few corners, 1.3 seconds. So Hülkenberg only took a little bit out of Giovinazzi's lead that time around. As now, look at this, 3 wide nearly going down this straight. In fact, as now Raikkonen retakes Vettel as he tries to get the move done. This is getting close between these 3 now, and as they head down towards the first few corners, Vettel trying to keep his foot in there. He's trying to have a look at Perez, but again, Perez just holds off the pair of them at the moment, and not much movement there. Vettel retaking 10th from Raikkonen down the straight there then, and it's getting quite close for this battle for P9 at the moment, and even Roland's getting close. I think that's Roland, getting close to the battle at the moment. Perez defends the inside from Vettel into that corner, and rightfully so, keeping hold of the place for the time being. So getting quite close between those lot at this stage. Meantime now, then Giovinazzi again still losing time a bit to Hamilton, and even Hülkenberg trying to close up onto him for second place as they just feed around the final corner now then on the track. Let's see what the gap is like this time around between the pair. Then we are getting close to the first round of stops for the 2 stoppers. Around about 4 laps time, possibly we'll see the first round of stops getting underway. And let's see the gap now then as I go down towards turn 1. And the gap, let's have a look, 1.4. So Giovinazzi starting to open it up again, it appears, compared to Hülkenberg, as Vettel finally takes the place of Perez. So up into 9th place goes Sebastian Vettel, as now Raikkonen starts to pile the pressure onto Sergio Perez if he can. Sorry for the drop of frames, as now Raikkonen going down the inside of Sergio Perez. Will he finally get the position? Didn't get enough momentum. Looks again down the inside into turn 1. Vettel even going a little bit defensive from Perez, but Raikkonen unable to get the move done on Perez, and Perez unable to get the place back off Sebastian at the moment. And Roland now getting close to this battle. It shows that the heavy fuel load definitely showing an effect for the Eldorados at the moment at this stage, as Perez is still trying to keep back Kimi Raikkonen at the moment in this race as they go down towards the final corner on the track. And we'll have a look and see if Hülkenberg is able to respond a little bit now then to Antonio Giovinazzi. Hamilton sets another fastest lap of 1 minute 9.564 now for Lewis Hamilton as we head down the pit straight. And so now heading towards the first few corners. Let's see the gap now then. On lap 16 of 65 now then here at Mexico. In towards the first few corners we will go. And it's 1.4 again, so both lapping around about the same pace as each other at this stage. Meantime, Raikkonen has finally taken 10th from Perez. Up to P10 goes Kimi Raikkonen, finally getting the move done on Checo, as now Roland now then all over the backside of Sergio Perez. Can he try and grab 11th from the Eldorado now then as we head down towards the first few corners on the track then? And it doesn't look like Roland is close enough to make a pass on Perez this time around, so hangs back for now and doesn't think about potentially diving it into the first few corners there. So that's, again, I apologise for the drop of frames in this stream. So that's that really, and look at that, Hülkenberg has got closer than what we've seen before on Antonio Giovinazzi. So that's that really as we come up towards the final corner, and we'll have a look and see what the gap is like between these two in just a little bit now then as we go down the pit straight. And Vettel now then, sorry, Hülkenberg, not Vettel. No pit stop yet from Hülkenberg at this stage as we're on lap 17. The gap now, that is closer than 1.4 surely as they go down towards the first few corners. Hamilton romping away out in front at this stage, 0.6 seconds. So I don't know if Gio made a mistake somewhere, but Hülkenberg has gained back in, it seems, on Giovinazzi at the moment. As meantime, Perez again finding pressure from Roland as they go down towards the first few corners. Now then, will Roland get the move done on Sergio Perez? He looks to the inside. Will the Brit get the move done And again, it just looks like momentum. But again, he could try and dive it down the inside if he's lucky enough. But just like before, we've seen with Checo, Checo shutting the door there on Ollie Rowland and not letting him go into these corners now then. So that's that for him. As meantime, Hülkenberg trying to get some momentum to see if he can try and get hold of Giovinazzi as they go up towards the final corner, the flat out final corner. And I'm sure in around about next lap or the lap after, we'll see the first round of pit stops get underway as we now head down the pit straight now. Then the gap between Gio and Hülkenberg is pitting this lap on lap 18. So Hülkenberg is pitting. Anybody else pitting? Nope. The top two are going to stay out for possibly 1 or 2 more laps. 0.5 seconds the gap. So Hülkenberg taking a 10th out of Gio's lead there. So that's that for him now then as they go through turn 3 now then on the track. Magnussen now getting close to the backside of Verline, it appears. So as meantime now Rowland getting some momentum now then on Perez. Will Rowland get the move done on Sergio Perez as they come down the pit straight? Rowland looking like he's not good enough, clearing the Mercedes engine, not quicker than the Ferrari down the straight, it appears. But now Rowland down the inside. Looks like some mechanics are in the background waiting for somebody to pit. Rowland down the inside and he gets the move done up into 11th place. Goes Ollie Rowland in the monster car. Is anybody in the pits? Because I can see mechanics. Yes, Ed Jones is in. He's the first man to make a pit stop, and he'll soon be joined by Hülkenberg, who's getting quite close to the final corner. So Jones will be a lap down. So the Mars mechanics getting ready for Ed Jones, it appears. As now into the pits comes Nico Hülkenberg for EMR. So let's see how quick the stop's going to be for the German. So he'll have to negotiate through a chicane, which he does. And the mechanics will be waiting to serve him. There is mechanics. And Jones being served in front of him at the moment. He'll soon be joining the track quite soon. Let's see how quick the stop's going to be then for Nico Hülkenberg as he puts on a fresh set of tyres and fuel. So that's that really. And it is an 12.1 second stop. So that's what it currently looks. That is how quick the stop was for Nico Hülkenberg. Was it my eyes there, or did RE Central just have a little bit of a lag moment there? Not 100% sure, to be honest. Let's have a look. I don't think it did. I think it was just my eyes playing up a little bit there. But Hülkenberg rejoined in 15th behind Carlos Sainz Jr., his Renault teammate in real life. As Hamilton staying out for an extra lap. Is Gio doing the same? Yes, the top two staying out, it appears. Ocon in the Martini is pitting this lap. So we're very interested to see how quick his stop's going to be. Surely Gio and Hamilton will be pitting next time around. As Ocon will go into the box. As now in he goes, the Frenchman in. And into the pits then comes Esteban Ocon from 3rd place. And let's see how quick the stop is going to be then for the Frenchman. As he'll just negotiate through the right, left, right chicane. Into the pits he goes. And let's see how quick the stop's going to be then for Esteban Ocon. So he will put on a fresh set of tyres and fuel. Again, sorry for the drop of frames. As the Martini mechanics are getting set with Ocon. And he's going for quite a light run on this one. Only taking just under 20 litres of fuel this time around. So a 9.6 second stop from Ocon there then. And let's see where he's going to rejoin then. And Magnussen is in as well. From 14th place, so that's that for him. As rejoining in 13th is 14th in fact is Esteban Ocon, and there was a few more in the pits. Magnussen's just finished off his pit stop there then, so Magnussen finishes off. Vettel has also came in for a pit stop, so he's in. He's going for quite a long run before his final stop, longer than what Ocon is planning, about 6 litres more in fact. And he rejoins in 19th place. Dixon is in, and now into the pits comes race leader Lewis Hamilton. And it looks like Gio's also coming in as well, because in front of the Bud Light Line Motorsport mechanics, they're also out in the pit lane. So there is Gio there on the left-hand side, and he's just going into pit lane. Hamilton being served, and no hold-ups there for the Brett. 10.7 second stop for the Etihad mechanics as Giovinazzi is being served. Where is Hamilton going to rejoin? As Verline takes the lead temporarily in this race, but he's scheduled to make a stop in about a couple of laps. Grosjean up to 2nd at the moment. He's on a 1 stop, let's not forget. So at this point, be very interested to see if Grosjean's able to make the 1 stop. Out goes Jean-Eric Verne. Verne is out of the race. What's happened to Jev? Whereabouts was he on the track? And where is he? On the track, and there he is. It is a water leak for the Frenchman. So Jean-Eric Vergne is out of the race, and we're down to 20 runners in this race. Vergne out. He joins Alonso in terms of retirements. 20 runners now left in the Grand Prix. Hamilton rejoins in third place, just in front of the one stopping Bottas, but Bottas trying to rectify that if he can as he goes in towards turn 1, but Hamilton saying no to that and shutting the door. Kimi Räikkönen into the pits for Suomi. A lot of the guys coming out. Giovinazzi's finished. He rejoins in 7th, just in front of the one stopping Perez, but Perez trying to find a move down the inside, but it's not going to work. Gio shutting the door there on him, just in front of Verstappen as well. I think he's on a one stop as well, so it'll be very interesting to see how much the one stoppers and the two stoppers will shake up the field. And where is Räikkönen going to rejoin in after this pit stop? Räikkönen rejoins in 17th place. So, no, sorry, 18th place, just behind Sebastian Vettel. So Vettel's still in front of Räikkönen after the pit stop. So that's that for him really as they go through the first few corners now then. And Vergne staying out for about a couple of more laps before he makes his pit stop, as he just goes around the final corner and onto the pit straight he will go. And so that's that really as they go down the straight in towards the first 3 corners on the track. Again, I apologise for the drop of frames. Some more mechanics are coming out. Vergne staying out. Whose mechanics are they into the pits? It's Ollie Rowland who's coming into the pits for Monster. So let's see where this is going to put him out now then, as he just negotiates around the chicane. Also joining in behind is Charles Leclerc in the shadow, so 2 people into the pits this lap. So let's see how quick the stops are going to be for both of them. Rowland pulling into his box, Leclerc is going to be pulling into his. So let's see now then as the mechanics get to work on his car. And so see where he's going to be joining after the stop. And it is a 11.6 second stop for Charles Leclerc. And quite a busy day for me, it must be said, today on Sunday. I've obviously got this to do. And on top of that, I've also got a league race going on. The lobby for that opens at 5:40, with qualifying starting at 6 for that. And then I've got AOR commentary. So I'll go a little bit into detail with that after the race is finished on that, if anybody's interested in watching the stream for AOR. As Leclerc rejoined in 18th, Rowland rejoined 17th on the track. Vergne is pitting at the end of this lap from the lead temporarily, so it will give Grosjean the lead. However, I wouldn't be surprised if Hamilton at this point is starting to gain on him at the moment, because of course Hamilton running a light fuel load because he's on a 2-stopper. Grosjean on the 1-stopper. The 1-stop possibly going to wear you down, and maybe even the older tyres that Grosjean's got in his car. So Grosjean in sync with the rest of the pack now, but running on quite old tyres, it must be said, and everybody on the 2-stop going to try and take full advantage of that if they can. So Hamilton choosing to do the opposite of what he did last season, go for the 2-stop. Hamilton went on the 1-stop and it worked out for him in the end, despite dropping back in the early stages because of how much fuel he was taking on and due to the nature of this track here at Mexico. So that's that really. Bottas 4th at the moment. He's also staying out for quite a while, but I wouldn't be surprised if Gio is starting to close him in. So Hülkenberg wasn't able to get the jump on Giovinazzi. In fact, he's got a car between himself and Gio now. It's the one stopping Perez that's in front of Hülkenberg at this stage, and Verstappen's also right behind him. He's also on a 1-stop as well, so he could give Hülkenberg a little bit of company, or could try and help out Ocon if he can. Ocon also came out. Looks like he got I don't know if Sainz is on a 1-stop or a 2-stop. I'm not sure if Sainz is actually pitted, but I wouldn't presume he is, because Ocon's catching him at a rate of knots, and could pull a move on him quite soon. Same with Hülkenberg. Into the pits went Pascal Wehrlein, so he's making his stop then on lap 24 of 65 here at Mexico, and it gives Grosjean the lead. But how long can he hold that possibly, because I think Hamilton is starting to gain on him a bit. 11.8 second stop for Pascal Wehrlein. Where's he going to be joining after the stop? And let's see then, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's some overtakes that have just happened while we've been viewing Wehrlein. And Pascal's going to be joining in 12th place, just in front of Kevin Magnussen. So that's that. So he gets in front of Magnussen at the moment. He's trying to hold off, it appears, Daniel Ricciardo at the moment, the one stopping Ricciardo, I presume. Magnussen having to go quite defensive. As Ocon now looking to the inside of Carlos Sainz Jr. Will he get the move done down the inside? Sainz still sticking with him, but it's not enough. Ocon grabs 8th place from the Spaniard, and Ocon having a good race at the moment, it must be said, getting up into 8th place now. Then Hülkenberg unable to find a move on Perez. Perez doing the same thing as what he did earlier and doing some defensive driving. And yeah, Hamilton getting closer and closer now to the backside of Romain Grosjean for the lead of the race as they come down the pit straight. So let's see the gap anyway between these two as we're on lap 25 and 65. So including this lap, 41 laps remaining of this Mexican Grand Prix as they head down towards the first few corners on the track. And the gap is 0.9 seconds. So that's how currently stands as that. Hülkenberg looks to the inside of Sergio Perez. Will he get the move done on Checo now then as he heads down the pit straight? Hülkenberg still trying to stick with him, gets back in the slipstream because of the Ferrari engine in the back of that Eldorado seems to be quicker down the straight than the Mercedes, but Hülkenberg goes down the inside into the corner, outbrakes him, and he goes up into 5th place. A brilliant move there from Nico Hülkenberg, and it's 5th place for the German. So Perez loses the place, and now Verstappen trying to close him up if he can. These two made a collision 2 weeks ago at Donington, and they're hoping not to repeat that this time around as they go through the left-right chicane. And so that's that really as they go through the double right-hander on the track. And look how close now Hamilton is to the backside of Romain Grosjean, not wasting any time. We are back about that. Sorry about that. The stream just briefly went off there because of 5G failing on me. Hopefully this internet doesn't. Hopefully I don't waste too much time today because I have to do a league race after this, so hopefully it don't. But let's continue. By the way, I think you just missed it, but Hamilton has just taken the lead off Romain Grosjean. So we'll continue. Hamilton now leading the way from Romain Grosjean as Bottas currently third at the moment. Giovinazzi in 4th place as he just goes around the chicane. So Hülkenberg 5th place at the moment after taking Perez down at turn 1, so he got the move done there. Now Verstappen trying to close him in if he can for P6 at this stage, but Hamilton now leading the way as he's coming up to a bit of traffic in the form of Ed Jones's Mars Grand Prix car as we now approach the final corner. And Hamilton now then just lapping Jones there as they just go around the final corner as they'll now head down the pit straight now then. Hamilton leading the way at the moment, and so that's that really as they go down towards the first few corners on the track. And so that's that really as Vettel now then trying to hold off Ricciardo if he can, as he's currently 14th at the moment. Ricciardo on a heavy, possibly on older tyres, so Vettel trying to make his way up through the field, trying to close up onto this group in front of Magnussen, Verline and Hartley at the moment. I think Hartley's on a 1-stop as well, so he's stayed out at this stage. As we're going to see quite a bit of overtaking now, I would think. Grosjean getting caught up in this traffic. Bottas third, but as you can see now, the 2-stopping Giovinazzi is starting to reel in Bottas now for that podium. Giovinazzi looking for his, well, his first legit podium, I should say, since the Japanese Grand Prix last season. And of course, because of Martini, he was effectively lifted up to second in, I believe it was Bahrain, I believe. But obviously it wasn't a legit one, he didn't get it on the track. But at this stage, if he could keep up the pace and have this two-stop strategy work to perfection, Giovinazzi could find himself on the podium. And so we will wait and see on that and see how Giovinazzi is able to do throughout the rest of the race, as Gio now then just feeds around the final corner before approaching the pit straight. And by the way, if any of you are wondering where the qualifying rerun is, I'll try and get that out at the same time as the race one. The race one will require possibly a bit of editing on my other computer because of space issues on this other one I've got that I'm doing the stream on. So, but that's that really, but we'll see. As now in towards these next section of corners then, Giovinazzi closing right into Bottas. I didn't quite see what the gap was like between the pair of them into the first few corners. Verstappen now has been overtaken by Ocon, so up into 7th place goes Max's teammate Esteban Ocon as he looks for a good points finish today, and even his teammate looking to do the same as well. So that's that really. That's now in towards these next section of corners now then. Ocon trying to reel in on Perez if he can, his current Force India teammate in real life. So that's that really. So he goes through the double right-hander. Obviously this is Ocon's last season at Martini. He is moving to GRM next season. Giovinazzi taking his seat at Martini next season. Giovinazzi currently up in 4th place and now right on the backside of Valtteri Bottas. Now they could try and line him up for a pass into the final corner. Giovinazzi now then Looking to the inside, Bottas going a tad bit defensive, and it paid off there. Keeps back Giovinazzi for the time being into the final corner. But can Gio try and get him back down the straight now then? Looking to the inside then. Goes Antonio Giovinazzi side by side. Go Bottas and Gio now then as they head down towards the first few corners on the track now then. Will Gio get the move done on the fin now then? The Italian again looking to the inside. Bottas trying to shut the door. There's just enough space for the pair of them to go through the first few corners. They're still side by side through turn 2, around turn 3, and Gio just has the edge, and Giovinazzi takes third off Valtteri Bottas up to P3. Goes the Italian, and the next target for him then will be Romain Grosjean, his teammate. Bottas tried to find a way back through into turn 4, but Gio was having none of it there then into that corner. So that's that for him really, as Ocon now then trying to get the move done on Sergio Perez now then. Up towards the double right we go. And so, well, it is a double right as it was in real life, but that's just a hairpin this bit is then. So that's that then, is Ocon trying to pile the pressure on as best as possible on Sergio Perez, and so far getting closer and closer now to the backside of Checo as they just swoop around the S's now then. So far the two-stop strategy paying off for Esteban at this stage as we go up towards the final corner now then. Let's see what if Ocon is able to get the move done, possibly down the straight on Checo now then. Round the final corner and onto the pit straight goes Esteban Ocon. Will he get the move done on Sergio Perez down the pit straight in towards turn 1? But it doesn't look like Ocon is close enough that time around to make a pass on Perez, so maybe has to be a little bit more patient perhaps to get onto him. Hülkenberg now trying to close up onto Valtteri for P4. So Hülkenberg trying to get a podium if he can in the EMR, as Ocon unable to make the move there on Perez previously. The only chance he's got possibly, because it's very clear they don't have the straight line speed at the moment through the Martinis, they have to try and get him into the corner. It seems that car is definitely set up for the corners, it must be said. Possibly the best place Ocon could possibly get Perez is possibly at the last corner, and I have to do some defending possibly down the pit straight perhaps. So we'll have to wait and see on that. He could try and see if he can get his teammate for help, Verstappen, but he's starting to drop back a bit now from these two because of the heavy fuel there. But Ocon could try and help out his teammate, try and close up onto Perez and hopefully get a good result for the Italian team, as now Ocon looking to the inside of Perez, isn't able to get momentum but gets back in the slipstream. Down to the last corner we go. Will Ocon get the move done? No, Perez shutting the door through into the final corner and keeping back Ocon for the time being. Now then, as they head down the pit straight, will Ocon get him this time around? He tucks up into his slipstream, he looks to the inside. Will Ocon get the move done? Tucks back into the slipstream again looking to the inside through the bottom bar, again tucking back for slipstream, again looking to the inside. Perez shutting the door, Ocon has to go outside, and Perez keeping hold of the place for the time being. Maybe Ocon could try and slingshot him perhaps into turn 4 if he's lucky enough. Coming out of turn 3 we go then, heading down the back straight towards the left-hander on the track now. Then Ocon gets the momentum, he's going to try and find a gap down the inside of Perez. Will he get the move done? Side by side go Perez and Ocon through turn 5, but again Perez just able to hold him off there for the time being. Up towards the hairpin we will go now then. Ocon really trying his best to get the place off Perez at the moment in this stage. And again, apologies if you can hear a fan in the background of a microphone. It is quite warm in my room. It is bright and sunny and very, very warm, it must be said, here in England, it must be said. And so yeah, that's that really. I think we've got this tomorrow as well on Mondays. Meantime now Ocon looking to the inside of Perez, but again Perez just able to hold him off at the moment as I go through the final corner. As we head down the pit straight, Ocon finding a gap on the inside, having enough momentum. He's going to look to the inside of Perez. Will he get the move done this time? Tucks back into the slipstream with Checo now then. Looks to the inside. Will he get the move done into turn 1 again? Maybe try and dive it down the inside if he's lucky enough. No, again, he has to tuck back for now. And looks like he might have to rely on turn 4 again to try and get him if he can. Heading down the back straight we go now then. Ocon trying his best to get Perez at the moment. He tucks down the inside, does a little dummy. He tried this earlier, but it didn't work. And again, it looks like for the second time, Perez just able to fend him off at the moment. Verstappen now then, Ocon's teammate, getting closer to this battle. So in a way, Ocon is helping out Verstappen get close to Perez. So meantime, Gio closing up on teammate Grosjean at this stage. Hülkenberg's still got a bit before he can get on terms with Bottas. Same with Gio on Grosjean in front of the moment. Meantime, Hamilton continuously pulling away out in front. As Jones there, you just saw, goes into the pits for his second stop. So a very quick second stop, it must be said, for Ed Jones. So quite an early stop there, it must be said, unless this is him doing a one stop. In fact, it might be close to the one stoppers now then perhaps, but we'll wait and see. But he pits anyway for a scheduled stop, and it will be last anyway because there's only 20 cars left in the Grand Prix. There is Hamilton just going up towards the hairpin now then, as he continues to dominate out in front at this stage. As meantime, Ocon again had a look at Perez into turn 1, but again Perez just shutting the door into that first corner there. Then Ocon possibly getting a little bit frustrated now, being stuck behind Checo's rear end, but now into the slipstream he goes. Will Ocon get the move done on Perez? He looks to the outside but isn't able to dummy it there. Perez positions his car perfectly to ensure Ocon didn't think about a move into that corner. So it looks like Ocon's going to have to try again somewhere else perhaps, and he just seems to be struggling. And even Verstappen getting close now to this battle. As a result, we're getting close now to the halfway stage of the race. We're 10 minutes away from the 4 o'clock mark, and the laps, just like they are in Japan, count down very quickly, probably due to how short this track is. At the moment, lap times are around about the same as what you get at the Red Bull Ring, so that's that really. Is Ocon again trying to have a look at Perez? Can he try and maybe do it this time into the last corner? He's got maybe enough momentum, but again, just not enough at the moment. Clearly shows how underpowered at the moment that Martini is compared to the Eldorado at the moment at this stage. As they go down the pit straight, all of this is holding up Ocon at this stage. Esteban now then looking to the inside. Will he finally get the move done on Perez? Again, tucks back into the slipstream, looks to the inside. Maybe try and do it now, Ocon, if you can, if you've got enough momentum. No, he's just not close enough. Didn't have enough straight to get the move done on Perez down into turn 1 there. And all of this is possibly frustrating Esteban at this stage. As they now go up towards turn 4, will Ocon get the move done? And again, Perez just positioning his car perfectly through into that left-right chicane and just keeping hold of him for the time being. Hülkenberg, meantime, getting close now to the backside of Bottas. How close is Giovinazzi now then to Grosjean as they approach the final corner? And well, he's still got a little bit to go, hasn't he, to try and get Roman at this stage as they go down the pit straight, as they all approach turn 1, 2 and 3. As meantime now then Hülkenberg getting closer, but he doesn't look like he's close enough to make a pass on Bottas down this straight. Ocon still stuck behind Perez as they go through the Peratala there then, as now Ocon looking to the inside of Perez. Will he try and get the move done? And wasn't able to do so. He tucks up. Perez went a little bit defensive. Ocon again looking to the inside. He's just got to try and find the right point where his car can be able to position itself so he can get the move done. And my CPU went to the minuses on that point. Sometimes it does do that when I'm live streaming, but not all the time. It just happens ever so often. So anyway, Ocon now then going down towards the left-hander. And again, Perez is positioning his car perfectly. I bet Cameron's getting a little bit frustrated seeing that Eldorado in front of Ocon at the moment. As meantime now, the other Eldorado is fending off from Nico Hülkenberg now then, as they go through the S's now then on the track. Hülkenberg looking to try and get a podium after getting his first ever Grand Prix victory last time out of Dakota. As they now come up towards the final corner. Will Hülkenberg potentially get a run on Bottas down the straight now? They're around the final corner and onto the pit straight we will go, and let's see if Hülkenberg is going to be able to make the move done. The sparks coming off the back of Bottas's car now then, as they head down towards the first 3 corners on the track. And let's see what Hülkenberg is able to do, as Bottas again goes to have a big lock up there from Hülkenberg there. Looked like he had to jam on the brakes a little bit there, maybe to avoid clouting at the back of Bottas's car. There's now meantime Ocon down the inside. Surely he's got it this time. No. Again, Perez just shutting the door into turn 1 there. And again, Ocon just venting possibly some frustration in the cockpit. Verstappen, surprisingly, not close enough than what I had anticipated at this point. Perez defending the inside and again keeping hold of the place at the moment, as they will now approach the right-hander. So that's that really as far as he is concerned. Hülkenberg again tucked up onto the backside of Valtteri Bottas. And what lap are we on now then? We are going to be on lap 37 quite soon, so we've passed the halfway point of the race. Lap 37 of 65 will soon be on, so that will be specifically, well, let's have a look. 29 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. Now Hülkenberg gets a run on Bottas. He's going to look to the inside. Will Hülkenberg get the move done? As there's some mechanics in the pits now then. They look like AMP mechanics. No, in fact, they look like, more... In fact, I can't quite tell what mechanics they are. I'll have a look in a little bit, but there are mechanics in the pit lane. As Danny inside goes Hülkenberg, but again, Bottas shutting the door there on Nico, as it is Ocon, in fact. So Ocon is in clearly, hoping to see if this two-stop is able to work out and see if he can get the jump on Valtteri once he makes his one and only stop at the Grand Prix. But Ocon is in for Martini. And it looked like it was white in the distance, but it's in fact gold on the Martini there. So I do apologise for that, for thinking it was another team's mechanics. But Martini now then finishing off their pit stop. And there is a few drop of frames. And hopefully it's not going to be too bad. Ocon now then finishes off his pit stop. Where is he going to be joining? He joins 18th place at the moment with some clear track in front. Well, a little bit. As Leclerc there just put a lap on Ed Jones going through the section of corners. Hamilton in fact is close to lapping them, and in about 4 laps time we should see the championship leader pitting, I would presume, and so far it looks like he's going to up the gap between himself and Alonso to 13 points at the moment if he stays like this. And in fact, if Hülkenberg could even find himself a little bit closer to Alonso at this stage, I don't think he'll overtake him in the championship, but I think he'll find himself around about 1 or 2 points behind the three-time champion in the Drivers' Championship, as Hülkenberg finally gets a move done on Valtteri Bottas and goes up into 4th place. Up to P4 then goes Nico Hülkenberg, and next target for him then is Antonio Giovinazzi, who in fact is getting closer now to Grosjean, so it might be Grosjean that could be Hülkenberg's next target, but we will wait and see as they just negotiate through the section of corners. Verstappen trying to gain onto Perez if he can for 6th place, as they will now approach turns 4 and 5 on the track. And we're pretty much getting at that pit stop stage now then in the Grand Prix. Meantime, update on Vettel. He's coming up in 9th but possibly 10th at the moment in this race. And so that's that really, as they go around turn 6 on the track. And so going around these sections of corners now then on the track into the S's. As into the pits comes Romain Grosjean, so Giovinazzi didn't even need to try and pass him, but Grosjean is in for Bud Light Line Motorsport, and a few cars in fact are into the pits now then for their scheduled stops. Dixon in as well for Mars, and let's see where Grosjean's going to rejoin then as he just goes trundling down pit lane. Grosjean, let's see where the Frenchman is going to come out, and he's going to rejoin as soon as he flicks off the pit limiter, which is now. He's going to rejoin in, it looks like it's going to be in 8th position, just in front of Van Dorn, who's going to be pitting in fact at the end of this lap. Van Dorn in fact trying to look to the inside of Grosjean, but Grosjean not letting him go, shuts the door into turn 1 there then. As meantime Sainz is into the pits for Shadow, so he's in, and let's see where he's going to rejoin then. And he's going to finish off his pit stop. Roland also in, that said on the top of the screen, and there's Roland being served there. So Sainz is going to rejoin. Let's see, he rejoins in 17th place in front of in fact, who was in front? In fact, no one really. There's not really much anybody close there. So Ocon up to 16th, starting to, he's now a lap down now from Lewis Hamilton, but I don't think he really cares that much. He's interested in trying to get points in this race. Antonio Giovinazzi meantime pits for his second and final stop, including Bottas, who's in for his one and only stop of the afternoon. Giovinazzi finishes off his stop. Where is Gio going to rejoin then as he makes his second and final stop of the afternoon? Perez is in for El Dorado, and he's going to rejoin in 5th place. So P5 for Giovinazzi. Just in front of teammate Grosjean in fact, so Giovinazzi's got the jump, but will Grosjean try and get him back down into turn 1? And no, Giovinazzi shuts the door, so at this rate it could look like that the two Bud Light Limes have a chance of locking out the podiums with Hamilton at this stage. But we'll wait and see what Hülkenberg does after his stop. He's going a little bit longer before he makes his stop. Hartley and Van Dorn and Ricciardo are into the pits to make their scheduled stops. Perez was as well. And Ocon has got a jump on Perez. So Ocon finally gets a jump on Perez by a long way. So no more worries for Ocon there being stuck behind Perez. Perez has lost a place now to Esteban Ocon. And that looks to be maybe some good points. We'll wait and see once the one stop has finished their stop. Hartley, meantime, for his one and only stop, rejoins in 16th place and a lap down. He rejoins behind Stoffel Van Dorn. Ricciardo rejoins 17th in front of Ollie Rowland. So that's Ricciardo's stop done with for the day. As into the pits comes Max Verstappen for his one and only stop in the hopes of trying to make it a double points finish with Martini if he can. As let's see where he's going to be joining. Looks like the Solwami mechanics are ready for either Magnussen or Raikkonen. We'll wait and see which one it is a little bit later as a fresh set of tyres and fuel goes into the Martini of Verstappen. So let's see where he's going to rejoin now then. And just look for Perez and Ocon potentially to come down pit straight. So 11.9 second stop for Verstappen. He's now fueled to the end of the Grand Prix. Where is he going to rejoin then? He rejoins in what appears to be 10th place. In fact, he's actually got the jump on Ocon, his teammate. So up into 10th place goes Max Verstappen and getting the jump on his teammate Esteban Ocon. So Ocon won't be happy about that one. Verstappen's also got the jump on Perez, let's not forget. Raikkonen finishes off his pit stop. He rejoins in 15th. Sorry for the drop of frames. As Hartley rejoins 16th at the moment. Hülkenberg takes the lead temporarily because Hamilton has finished off his pit stop, his final stop of the afternoon. Where is Hamilton going to rejoin then? As he flicks off the pit limiter, he rejoins in 2nd place. So that's where he rejoins. And looks like he will get the lead back once Hülkenberg finishes off his final stop. That's Vettel pitting at the end of this lap. Hülkenberg staying out for about another lap, I would think, anyway. And yes, he is probably another lap for Hülkenberg before he makes his final stop of the afternoon. As he's actually coming up to a little bit of traffic now then. In the form of, I believe that's Hartley in front of him at the moment. I could be wrong, but I think that might be Hartley that's in front of Hülkenberg at this stage as they just go through the S's. We'll be seeing Vettel this lap pit as he looks to try and get some points after what happened between him and Alonso. That, of course, is under investigation. That start incident between Vettel and Alonso, which resulted in Alonso crashing out of the Grand Prix after just one lap. So that's that really, as Vettel just goes through the left and right-handed out on the track. As now he just flicks through the S's now then, or we will be seeing Vettel pitting this lap for a scheduled stop. As he just flicks the car into the right and into the pits comes Sebastian Vettel, the 4-time Formula 1 World Champion, is in. And where is Vettel going to rejoin then after the pit stop? Can he get himself in some decent points? Let's see now then as Vettel makes the pit stop. As he flicks on the pit limiter, they are the EMR mechanics waiting for him. I wouldn't be surprised if his teammates pitting next lap. Currently temporarily leading the race, but we will wait and see as the EMR mechanics get to work on Vettel's car. And let's see where he's going to rejoin then. It's still getting quite hot in my room. Sorry for the drop of frames. Vettel finishes off his pit stop. And where is the German going to rejoin? He rejoins in, it looks like he's outside the points obviously, but he rejoins in 12th place I believe, unless there's somebody coming down the pit straight now. No, there ain't. He rejoins in 12th, just in front of Carlos Sainz Jr. So that's that for him for that pit stop. Hülkenberg has in fact stayed out, but now he's pitting at the end of this lap on lap 44 of the race with 22 laps remaining. So with 22 laps remaining, Hülkenberg is pitting. He should hand the lead back to Lewis Hamilton as a result in this race now then. As Grosjean tries to catch up to Giovinazzi at this stage. And but it looks like he's falling back now. Clearly his strategy doesn't appear to possibly be working out at the moment, but that's that really. Is Verstappen now starting to get away in fact from Esteban Ocon, in fact possibly making his strategy work out. Sorry about that. As now down the pit straight goes Charles Leclerc. He's currently in the points, but I think he will be pitting this lap, pitting soon. Yeah, he's only got 4.3 litres left in the tank at the moment, so He shouldn't be expecting him to stay there throughout the rest of the race. Perhaps it looks like the Martinis are looking good perhaps for points if there's anybody else in front of Leclerc that's yet to make a stop. Let's have a look. Yeah, Verline's still got to make a stop, so there is a chance that and Magnussen as well, let's not forget. And Hülkenberg now then into the pits for EMR, so we could expect a double points finish perhaps for Martini at this stage. Hülkenberg in for a scheduled stop in the EMR, and let's see where he's going to rejoin then after the pit stop. And as he tries to look for a podium, perhaps he could feed himself out into the battle with the battle in Bud Light Limes perhaps, but we'll see. Hülkenberg finishes the pit stop. Where is he going to rejoin now then as he goes trundling down pit lane? Where are the Bud Light Limes? Well, they've gone through in fact, and Magnussen is pitting soon, so Hülkenberg doesn't need to worry too much about him. Same with Verline. So Hülkenberg rejoins in 6th, but it will be P4, but that's a lot of time he's got to try and find to catch up to the 2 Bud Light Limes who occupy 2nd and 3rd. So even Grosjean has stayed out in front of Hülkenberg after the pit stop. So looks like Bud Light Lime could have a chance of filling out the two remaining podium slots behind Lewis Hamilton at the moment. Bud Light Lime doing a good job here at Mexico, and finally look to be finding their feet at last. But we'll wait and see if that continues as the IFMC returns to Europe next weekend. So, but we will wait and see as we go around the S's now then on the track, and so heading through these section of S's for the second to last corner before approaching the Peritala will go Antonio Giovinazzi. Hamilton now then retakes the lead. In fact, he's coming up to a bit of traffic in the terms of his future teammate Daniel Ricciardo. He's just got to try and lap. It was confirmed during the week that Hamilton has signed a 2-season extension with Etihad, which will see him there till the end of season 6. So as a result, he will be Daniel Ricciardo's teammate next season at Etihad. So it was no surprise really, but it's great to know that Hamilton will be staying at Etihad for the next 2 seasons at least, and maybe some more on top of that as he now puts a lap on Ricciardo. Magnussen pits for his final stop, it appears, and we'll try and get to him if we can. Leclerc also coming in as well. Magnussen in for the scheduled stop also is Leclerc, so both of them in. And in fact, Magnussen having to wait for Leclerc to come down pit lane there. So Magnussen getting quite held up there as a result. So let's see where Magnussen is going to rejoin then, as we have 20 laps of the race remaining. I think maybe even 19, because I don't know if Hamilton's actually put a lap on these guys. No, I don't think he has. So in fact, now he's just starting lap 47 of the race. So we now have 19 laps, including this lap remaining of this Mexican Grand Prix, and we have passed the 4 o'clock mark. In fact, we were there 7 minutes ago, so I wouldn't be surprised if this race probably finishes maybe just after 4:30, but we'll wait and see on that as Hamilton continues to romp away out in front here at Mexico City. But now as we come around the right-hander, we will go the hairpin as Hamilton flicks it through the S's now then on the track, as Leclerc getting involved in a little bit of a battle now with Daniel Ricciardo, but only for P16. Shadow definitely struggling around here this weekend, it must be said. Meantime, Hülkenberg now all over the backside of Verline, who's pitting this lap, but Hülkenberg doesn't want to waste any time whatsoever, but Verline saying no to that. He's going to try and keep him back as much as possible now. Then as they go up towards the right-hander, Hülkenberg stopped behind his fellow compatriot at this stage as they go through the S's, and Hülkenberg trying to see if there is a gap where he can try and get Verline at this stage now then as they go through these S's, through the left and then through the right-hander he will go. Around the final few corners on the track then will go these two, and Hülkenberg doesn't even need to try and put a pass on him, but in fact, Verline had to back out there just to avoid some contact with Hülkenberg there. I don't think Hülkenberg was aware that Verline was going to pit this lap anyway, but luckily no contact between the pair of them there. I was getting quite anxious there that there would have been some contact, but there wasn't, as Verline now then comes into the pits for his scheduled stop, and we'll see where this puts him out. Could he be possibly fighting for points, or is that just going to be a long shot then for the German? We'll wait and see as the AMP mechanics get to work on his car. And where is Verline going to rejoin now then? It is a 9.9 second stop, as it looks like, is that the Mars mechanics coming out of the pit lane. Yes, Ed Jones is coming into the pits for his scheduled stop, so he's getting his stop done out of the way. Verline rejoins in 12th place, just in front of teammate Stoffel Vandoorne, but could Vandoorne try and get him down into turn 1? Vandoorne looking to the inside of Pascal Verline, but Verline saying no to that and shuts the door on him as a result. And even Magnussen fancying his chances at the moment in this Grand Prix as they go through the next few corners. Vandoorne still trying his best to harry Verline at the moment as we go through the section of corners. Vettel closing in on Perez, it must be said. Verstappen continuing to get away a bit from Ocon at the moment, as it seems that everybody in the top 4 at the moment seems to be separated at the moment. Hülkenberg in 4th, but now he's got to try and close up to the 2 Bud Light Line Motorsports if he can, if he wants 2nd place in the race. And he could, if he can get up to 2nd, possibly pass Alonso in the Drivers' Championship. I could be wrong, but I think that could be the case if my maths are correct there. I could be wrong, as mentioned. Whoops. And that hurt my finger there, that bit. I just flicked up the cable that's used to connect to the computer so we can see everything that's happening on the screen at the moment. But yeah, apologies for that. Apologies for some frames dropping at the moment. And I just had to take a little gulp there, but not really much happening in the top 4 at this stage. Perez trying to close in onto Ocon, but it looks like Vettel might give Perez a little bit of company at the moment, as Vettel trying to gets himself into the points as they just go around the hairpin. Vettel now then around he will go before approaching the next section of corners, and now he'll go around the left and then around the right hander as out goes Brendan Hartley. Hartley out of the race. I think that's his first retirement of the season, I believe. Hartley out of the race. Where is he? And there he is. It is a loose wheel for the Kiwi. Brendan Hartley out of the Grand Prix, and we're down to 19 runners as a result. Hartley finishing off what could have been a decent race, but it pretty much went to nothing. Hartley out, and we're down to 19 runners as a result there then. Meantime, back to this battle for 8th place between Perez and Vettel. Confirmation that Hartley is out of the race as we now approach the final corner on the track. Let's see if Vettel's able to get a run on Perez this time around now then as he approach the final corner. Perez now then possibly feeling the pressure now from Vettel as they head down the pit straight. Will Vettel get the move done on Sergio Perez as we head down towards the first few corners on the track? Then Vettel in the slipstream of Checo as he will approach the first few corners on the track. Then he tucks up into his slipstream. Will he get the move done on Perez? But he doesn't look like he's close enough to make the move at this stage. So that's that really, as they now come down the straight now then. Sorry about that, as we're viewing race leader Lewis Hamilton now with 15 laps to go. He started lap 51 of 65 here at Mexico, so 15 laps remaining for the championship leader as he continues to dominate out in front at this stage. Meantime, Grosjean still trying to close him onto Giovinazzi. In fact, he could get helped out a little bit because Giovinazzi is caught up in a little bit of traffic at the moment in the form of Ed Jones, as now we go through the first few corners, but Giovinazzi disposes of him there through the first few corners there then on the track. As meantime now then, Vettel back on the prow of Perez as we rejoin this battle for P8 now then as I go around the final corner. Will Vettel get the move done on Sergio Perez? Down the pit straight we go now then. Vettel tucking up into Perez's slipstream. He looks to the inside. Will Sebastian get the move done on Checo now then? And not enough momentum, but still trying to get on the inside. Can he get back in the slipstream? Potentially get the move done down the inside. Is Vettel going to get 8 from Perez? No. Perez shutting the door through turn 1 there then, fending off Vettel at this stage. The pair of them also getting close to the back of Esteban Ocon as well, so we could have a three-way scrap for 7th. But we'll wait and see. Vettel now then. Perez defending the inside through turn 4, and rightfully so, keeping hold of the place for the time being as they just ponder their way round that bit of the chicane. Through the hairpin we go. Vettel trying to keep up with Perez as much as possible. So now we will go through the left-hander on the track. And Vettel now then trying to get Perez. Perez so far has been pretty much a pain for everybody during this race, it must be said. And it looks like it's not going to be a good home Grand Prix at the moment for Sergio Perez. But Vettel now then, will he try and get him into the final corner now then? He tucks up into his slipstream. Is he going to try and dive it down the inside for the last corner? No, he can't. Doesn't think about a move into the Peratala. But let's see if he can get him this time around now then, as we head down the pit straight now then. Vettel down the inside. Will he get the move done? Side by side go Perez and Vettel as we head down towards the first 3 corners. Again, looking to the inside, trying to see if he can find some momentum. Vettel down the inside of Sergio Perez, and he gets the move done. Vettel up into 8th place, finally gets the move done on Perez, and Vettel finds himself into the points. Next target for him is Esteban Ocon, his former teammate, in 7th place now then, as he will now approach the left and right hander. Sorry for the drop of frames at this stage, but that will be Vettel's next target, Esteban Ocon in the Martini. So that's that really at this stage. As Giovinazzi still looking quite strong in 2nd place at the moment, as we'll now approach the first 3 corners on the track. And so now up towards turns 1, 2 and 3 we will go. And so now around we will go. What lap are we on at the moment? As Giovinazzi's got a 3.5 second lead in front of teammate Grosjean. 1 lap 53 of 65 now then in the Grand Prix. 13 laps remaining for Lewis Hamilton at this Grand Prix. Again, I apologise for the drop of frames, and I am fearing a little bit for the worse again, but we will wait and see. As now through the right-hander we will go. Luckily this race should finish way before my league race starts anyway. If it had been a normal race, it would have been probably a few minutes before that lobby got open, but thank the Lord, luckily for this track, it doesn't look to be the case. Even if we do disconnect a little bit, it shouldn't take too long to get back on stream anyway to finish this Grand Prix off. Sorry if you can hear the dog in the background, and so that's that really. Sorry about that. As now, as you can see, Hülkenberg now then starting to gain onto Romain Grosjean for the final podium place. What is the gap between the pair of them now then? It's 1.7 seconds the gap is between Grosjean and Hülkenberg, so we will keep an eye on that gap next time around. He's got a big enough lead in front of Bottas, who's currently very lonely in 5th place, it must be said. Meantime, Vettel now on the backside of Esteban Ocon for P7. So we've got a battle for 7th on its way now then, as we go down the pit straight now then. Up towards the first few corners on the track then we will go. Will Vettel get the move done on Ocon? It doesn't look like he's close enough to the backside of the Frenchman at this stage, so maybe he has to wait possibly the next lap to try and pull a move on Esteban as we go through the first few corners on the track. As meantime, Hülkenberg, let's see, excuse me, as we go through the S's now then, Hülkenberg trying his best to get Grosjean in for 3rd place, trying to get the final podium place off the Frenchman now then, until we'll now approach the final corner, and let's see what the gap is like between Hülkenberg and excuse me, and oh, bloody hell, Grosjean. Sorry for the drop of frames there, I am fearing for the worse. So now we head down towards the first few corners. It's 1.3 seconds now the gap, so Hülkenberg has taken 4/10 out of Giovinazzi's lead there then. So that's that. Sorry, not Giovinazzi, Grosjean, the other Bud Light line. But that's that really. Meantime, Vettel, can he try and line up Ocon for a pass this time around, as they both head down the pit straight towards the first few corners on the track? Then Vettel tucking up into Ocon's slipstream as the sparks come off the back of Ocon's car. Now they're heading down towards the first few corners on the track. Then Ocon going a tad bit defensive, and rightfully so, keeping all the 7th place for the moment. He can feel the pressure of Vettel at this stage, as now we go through turn 3 now then on the track. And it looks like again Vettel just did not have enough traction compared to Ocon coming out of turn 3 there. Ocon having a little bit more than what Vettel had on his plate, and that's why Vettel's got a problem. Vettel's got an electrical problem. Vettel has a problem. Can he get it back to the pits? So more disaster for Sebastian Vettel. A chance for points has probably gone down the toilet for the German. And can he get it to the pits? Or will it be a 2nd consecutive Mexican Grand Prix retirement for Sebastian Vettel? And, well, what a shame really. It looks like Hülkenberg is the only hope now for points for EMR. And so far, it must be said, Hülkenberg has had the better season compared to Vettel. Vettel's ran into a lot of bad luck this season, just like he did last season. Is he gonna go into the pits, or is the problem too turmoil? No, he's going in. Vettel into the pits to repair the problem. Maybe a change of steering wheel, perhaps, or what in the car. I don't know. Maybe a restart of the engine. Who knows? But Vettel's chance of points has definitely gone down the toilet. And while it brings Perez back into the points as a result, and I bet Eldorado will be slightly happy about that one, but still a little bit disappointed that only Perez is in 8th place at this stage, and a chance for points for Vettel's gone down the toilet. And I wouldn't be surprised at this stage if he's now a lap down from Lewis Hamilton. And yes, he is now. Vettel now a lap down from Hamilton, as Hamilton is now on lap 57 of 65 in this Grand Prix. So including this lap, we now have 9 laps to go in this Mexican Grand Prix. We're into the closing stages of the Mexican Grand Prix here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit here in Mexico City. So into the closing stages now then we are. So Vettel rejoins in 17th and a lap down. And if I was him, I'd let Hülkenberg go at this stage, mainly because Hülkenberg is trying to get Grosjean in front, unless Vettel can try and help out Hülkenberg a bit by passing Grosjean and holding him up, so that Hülkenberg could try and get in preferred place. And maybe some tactics could be involved with EMR here, and maybe using Vettel as a little bit of a decoy, perhaps, to help Hülkenberg out to get that final podium place off the Frenchman. As now we go through the S's now they're on the track. We will see what the plan is anyway at EMR as we view this battle for 3rd place kicking off. As we go through the S's now, then will Vettel try and unlap himself now then from the Audi powered Bud Light line as we go up towards the final corner now then on the track. And so now round the final corner now then goes Sebastian Vettel, as he will now come down the pit straight now then on the track. Sparks coming off the back of the car. Will Vettel try and help out Hülkenberg in a way by trying to unlap himself down the straight? He's going to go down the inside of Romain Grosjean. Will Vettel actually pull this off on Grosjean? Down towards turn 1 we go, and he does. He unlaps himself from Grosjean as Hülkenberg's gone off. Hülkenberg has gone off there. Kind of similar to what he did last season, but unlike last season, he doesn't spin off there, but that might cost him a bit of time to get the Grosjean there. Maybe Hülkenberg just outdid himself there. Look, he went off there last season, it must be said, but as mentioned, unlike last time, he doesn't spin off at that corner. He just outdid himself into the corner and just was able to keep the back in check. But now he's got to do all that hard work again to get hold of Grosjean for the podium. And with a little bit of help from Vettel, he could do that. In fact, Vettel's pulling away a bit from Grosjean. And it's very clear that maybe Grosjean's 1-stop might be wearing him down a bit. Hülkenberg was on the 2-stop, let's not forget. So let's put it this way. They'll be on. Hamilton's now on lap 59 of 65 in this Grand Prix now then, so he has 7 laps remaining. It will soon be 7 laps for both Grosjean and Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg has 7 and a bit laps to try and catch up now to Romain Grosjean and get the final podium place to stop any chance of Bud Light Lime taking maximum points in the constructors and them having a double podium in this race, as Giovinazzi is looking strong in 2nd place at the moment in this Grand Prix. As Hülkenberg just goes around the first few corners on the track. Through turn 3 we go, coming out of that corner before approaching the chicane, as we're getting towards the closing stages of this Mexican Grand Prix. Hülkenberg trying to pile the pressure, and he does seem to be slowly catching back up to Grosjean now then. So we have a battle for 3rd in the pipeline now then, it appears. And maybe around about 3 laps time, perhaps 3 to 5 laps time, we'll see Hülkenberg putting the pressure on Grosjean, but we'll wait and see as Hamilton puts a lap on Magnussen there, as he now starts lap 60 of 65. 6 laps remaining for Lewis Hamilton in this Grand Prix. 6 laps to go for the championship leader at this stage. So at the moment it looks like he will be increasing his lead at the top of the championship to double figures at the moment, and it will definitely mean he will be guaranteed the championship lead at the end of Belgium as a result. So in a way he can afford to breathe a breath of fresh air a little bit in Belgium. But I bet you any money, knowing Lewis Hamilton as the driver, he never gives up, and he always pushes flat out, even if the situation is that he's got a clear margin or has won the championship. Unless, well, then again, I would say Abu Dhabi like most people last season, but in my opinion, I just think Bottas just had his number, really. I think it was more of a case of Hamilton just struggled to find a way through on Bottas, really. That's just my opinion from last year at Abu Dhabi anyway. Might be different to yours, but then again, it was a tough track to overtake anyway, so there we are. So anyway, meantime, Vettel now trying to unlap himself from Giovinazzi. In fact, if Hülkenberg is able to be quick enough to get Grosjean, because of how far Gio is in front of Grosjean, if he's quick enough, he could try and grab second, but he's not got enough time. He has to try and catch up to Grosjean pretty quickly and then try and catch Giovinazzi, and at the moment, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Nico will need a little bit of luck if that is the case, and I think Giovinazzi, I think, is looking good for second place, even if Vettel tries to unlap himself from Giovinazzi. I think it will still not be enough for Hülkenberg to try and catch up after potentially he passes Grosjean, but we will see. 5 laps remaining of the Grand Prix. 2.3 seconds is the gap between Grosjean and Hülkenberg on this lap now then. Hülkenberg still trying his best to dig deep and get that final podium place off Romain Grosjean in this race. And so that's that really. Perez looking good to get points, and in fact both Martinis in 6th and 7th looking good for points in this race, and I think they deserve a lot of credit considering where they've come from. And I think Cameron Anderson will looking like he's going away a very happy man, but will Ocon be able to keep on a 7th, because Perez is starting to reel him in again for P7, and Perez could fancy his chances at 7th place. 1.1 seconds is the gap between Ocon and Perez for 7th place at the moment, so we could see a little bit of a fight between these two by the end of the race, as they now approach the left-hander on the track. So around we will go, and Perez now then trying his best to get Ocon for P7 in the Grand Prix. So meantime now then, Vettel in fact actually battling with Roland at the moment, so side by side go Vettel and Roland for P16. So Giovan actually gave Vettel actually in a way a little bit of a helping hand to get Roland. Down the inside he goes, and Vettel takes 16th from Roland, just to ease the pain of what this Grand Prix weekend has been for Sebastian Vettel. And again, apologies for the little drop of frames towards the end of this Grand Prix. It shouldn't affect it too much towards the end, but hopefully we can just get to the end and get the podiums done. And then I'll probably reset the internet before me league race, which the lobby opens in just over an hour's time. So yeah, so plenty of time really. Meantime, how's Hamilton doing? Well, he's coming up to quite a bit of traffic, it must be said, at the moment, as he now starts lap 63 of 65 here at Mexico. So 3 laps remaining for Lewis Hamilton, and he's looking good to get win number 3 this season, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe it's win number 3 this season for Lewis Hamilton, and redemption after what happened in Kota last weekend. Is this the man that could dethrone Alonso before he jets off to IndyCar after this season? So far, well, we said it last season, but Alonso managed to pull it back. At the moment, it looks like it, but never count out Alonso just yet from the Drivers' Championship. Never, ever count him out, because he can perform some miracles, especially in the European races coming up. Belgium, he was strung out last season, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case when we go there next weekend. Belgium earlier than what it has been before on the IFMC calendar. So meantime, Giovinazzi still trying to lap Vettel, it appears. Well, Vettel in fact has actually unlapped himself, it must be said, and I think Vettel starting to get away a little bit. Hülkenberg now then only has 3 laps in which to try and get Grosjean for that final podium place, and time is ticking for the German to get that final podium place of Grosjean. Through the right-hander we will go, the hairpin. So again, apologies for the drop of frames. Please survive till the end. As now through the S's we will go. And so now through we go. Hülkenberg. I'll be interested to see what the gap is like between him and Romain Grosjean on the next lap. So, but we'll see as we come up towards the final corner. Let's have a look then in the cockpit as we start the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix for Lewis Hamilton. Lap 64 of 65 now then Lewis Hamilton is on, and again I apologise for the drop of frames. So now we head down the pit straight now, then heading in towards the first few corners on the track, and the gap between 3rd and 4th. At this stage it doesn't look like Hülkenberg is going to get him. It's 1.4 seconds. Maybe that bit of traffic could help out Hülkenberg in front in the form of Ollie Rowland, but we will wait and see. as they go around turn 3 now and on the track. Next target for Vettel to salvage something will be Daniel Ricciardo for P15, but that's that for him. Meantime, where's Lewis Hamilton? There's Hamilton now then, he's just coming up towards the Piratala, the final corner on the track, and Lewis Hamilton is about to start his final lap here at Mexico. It's been a brilliant race for Lewis Hamilton. He started on pole position. He didn't get the initial getaway at the start, but due to the drama with Vettel and Alonso, he was able to get hold of Giovinazzi, who managed to get the jump on everybody at the start and was able to get the lead back of the Italian. And since then, no one has been able to stop Lewis Hamilton, and he's looking good to get win number 3 of the season to increase his lead in the Drivers' Championship. Again, sorry for the drop of frames. Through towards the chicane then goes Lewis Hamilton, and looking good to get the victory for the Brit. Meantime, is Hülkenberg getting close to the back of Grosjean? Well, he's getting close, but I don't think that's enough. 1 second exactly is the gap between them on that final lap. Where is Hamilton? There he is. He's just coming around the S's now then for the final time. Hamilton has done an absolutely fantastic race. Nobody has stopped the Brit. It's just been a dominant performance by Lewis Hamilton. He's coming up now towards the final corner, the Piratala now then. Around the final corner comes Lewis Hamilton, and for the second race in a row here in Mexico, it is going to be Lewis Hamilton who wins the Mexican Grand Prix. Congratulations to him and the Etihad Racing team. A brilliant and dominant race from Lewis Hamilton, and he increases his lead in the Drivers' Championship as a result. And Vettel has taken 15th there from Daniel Ricciardo. Antonio Giovinazzi is going to cross the line in second, getting his first legit podium since Japan last season. And Bud Light Lime appear to be back to some strong pace. Giovinazzi crosses the line in second place. Grosjean is just going to hold off Hülkenberg to finish in third. Hülkenberg crosses the line in fourth. It is going to be Bottas who's going to cross the line in 5th place in the end, so P5 for the Finn. Not the best performance for Eldorado, but still double points nonetheless. I'll be interested to see if Perez actually got Ocon at the end. Verstappen picks up 6th to get Martini's first legit points of the season, and Cameron Anderson will be happy with that. P6 for Max Verstappen in the end, and Ocon has Perez breathing down his neck around the final corner, but I think it's just going to be enough for Ocon to just hold off Perez. Ocon is going to cross the line in 7th, double points for Martini. Perez rounds out the points in 8th on his home Grand Prix. Raikkonen just misses out in 9th, but still a good comeback after his qualifying ban. And there you have it then. In the end, Lewis Hamilton wins the Mexican Grand Prix in dominant fashion, and he now increases his lead in the Drivers' Championship. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the results of the Mexican Grand Prix here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit. Lewis Hamilton won the race with Antonio Giovinazzi second. Romain Grosjean finished in third with Nico Hülkenberg in fourth. It was then Valtteri Bottas fifth with Max Verstappen 6th, Esteban Ocon 7th, Sergio Perez in 8th with Kimi Raikkonen in 9th. Pascal Wehrlein finished in 10th with Kevin Magnussen 11th. Carlos Sainz Jr. 12th, Stoffel Vandoorne 13th, and Charles Leclerc in 14th position. And if you scroll down the rest of the field, it's Sebastian Vettel 15th, Daniel Ricciardo in 16th, Oliver Rowland in 17th, Scott Dixon in 18th, Ed Jones, the last of the finishers, in 19th, and the 3 retirements were Brendan Hartley, Jean-Eric Vergne, and Fernando Alonso. They were the retirements of the Mexican Grand Prix. So let's see who set the fastest lap of the race, and it was Lewis Hamilton with a 1:09.564. So he got pole position, fastest lap, and the race victory. He was 400s quicker than Sebastian Vettel in the end of the race there then. But guys, that has been it from the Mexican Grand Prix here at Mexico City. I hope you've enjoyed it. It has been a very entertaining race, probably not at the front, but everywhere else it has been such a thrill to watch. And well, Mexico never fails to impress. Not as good as last season, but still a good race nonetheless. But there you have it then, guys. That has been it. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will see you then, guys, next weekend at the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps, where GP2 and GP3 will be back that weekend as well. So a packed weekend next weekend at Belgium. And the podium for the top class is coming your way just after this. But also at 8 PM BST over on the official Apex Online Racing YouTube channel, I will be doing commentary for the top tier of F1 on the PS4 side with Oliver Glazebrook. I'll be the co-commentator and Oliver's the main one. So if you want to go and check that race out, it'll be on at 8 PM BST. So put a bookmark on that time if you can. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you enjoyed it. The conclusion to that Turn 1 incident will come out a little bit late because of everything I'm doing straight after this. But that is it then, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching. I'm in JWF1, and I will see you guys next weekend at the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa. Until then, take care and enjoy the podium.